You know, the standardization is the same as a management system, you know, because it's a constant process of reviewing the standards which you wrote somewhere in one book. It's about a continual improvement of the standards. So probably you will develop, and you can see it, you will develop the standard, and after 2 or 4 years you have to change it because the legislation will change, the situation in society could change, and you will be probably facing a different risks, and that's exactly the perspective. You have to work with the standards because it's not like a Bible. You wrote it one time and just it will be a Bible for 10, 20 years, for decades and stuff like that. It's a constant work. So yes, there are these risks that the standards won't reflect the current situation, but it's a constant process. I understand that if you are writing a standard for just Czech Republic, that's completely different process than you are writing a standard for European Union and for international standard organizations. It's completely different situation because you need to find a consensus between different cultures, different systems, and different legislations. But still, we are trying to find a proper way how to deal with it. I think citizens should have the benefit because we are doing it to make them more secure, and in fact, all organizations, and doesn't matter if it is private company or governmental organization, uh, it's always managed by people, and people are citizens of some country, of some union, for example, the European Union. So at first, the benefit should be focused on the citizens, on the people. They are most important. The second important are some institutions which has the right, for example, to say, okay, we will provide you with some funding and stuff like that. So that's the second. I think I think there are priorities which could differ in each country, because, for example, if you look at Great Britain, it will be completely different situation because they are facing the different risks from perspective of society. If you look at the last year, they faced big demonstrations. It was the same situation like in France when some immigrants were demonstrating for some. There were some strikes and stuff like that. So it is always different in each country. But I think that each country should prioritize what is really important. So for example, for Czech Republic, it's important to have standards in private security and healthcare system because we don't have any, and that's the reason, for example, why I'm here. The private security companies, I forgot to say it, it's about security companies. It's very important to have standardize their work. The reason why we are here is to say what priorities we have. For example, the CBRN risks, which means the chemical, biological, nuclear, and radiological risks are at this moment maybe priority number 1 or 2, because we are facing risks or threats from terrorist attacks, and we don't control these materials properly. So we have to write a standard how to deal with these materials. So that's the priority number one. The priority number two is healthcare, because we faced many disasters, like natural disasters, or for example, the consequence of a big terrorist attack could lead into need of transport a lot of people, and I'm talking about thousands. On international level, it's the same. If you look, for example, at the disaster, at the tsunami, I think it was 4 years ago, there was a problem that many armies were involved in transporting people from the coast to the hospitals, which were on the ships. And there was a problem that every army is using different medical systems in air transport. So there were several risks that they loaded one helicopter, moved to, for example, this was a U.S. Army helicopter, and they moved to the hospital which was on the Russian one, and they had several problems to transport the people from the helicopter to the medical center, to the emergency center, because they used different materials, they used different communication protocols and stuff like that. So that's the reason, in fact, why we are building the standards.